Good morning, guys. Today is April 9th, Tuesday. Hope you guys are all well. Markets are doing still well today. I think the CPI number comes out in a bit, tomorrow or later this week. So I think before that, you're going to find a little bit of choppiness, but still actually holding on very, very well. Good news from Google on its cloud event happening this week. Actually, yesterday was a big announcement of the ARM chips that they're building for their own cloud use. And then the rest of the week, I think people are expecting a lot more from them on the AI side. So that's driving a lot of the news. And because of that, AMD and Intel both are taking a little bit of a breather, given that Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Alibaba, they're all focusing on building their own chipsets for their AI uses within the cloud. Okay, so one of the companies that showed up on the radar, primarily because of a big drop and an announcement that beauty products were slowing down, and that caused a bunch of companies such as Oddity, ODD is the ticker symbol, ELF, ELF Beauty is another company, and Coty, COTY, all headed lower, much lower, was Ulta Beauty. And I don't know beauty very, very well. I have been part of an e-commerce company that we sold beauty products online, mostly Korean beauty skincare products. So I know the space from that perspective fairly well. I'm not a beauty expert. As you can see, you just look at me and you go, yeah, this guy's not a beauty expert. That's fairly easy. But Ulta Beauty as a retailer is a very interesting company given how well they've executed over the last 30 years. The company started in 1990 and they have executed as a specialty retailer within the beauty segment and expanded the footprint from primarily being a cosmetics seller to now they do makeup, skincare, they do services within the company, and they have expanded the business very effectively to nearly a $10 billion business, really growing very quickly. So that I'll take a look at why the company has done well, what products do they sell, why they have a unique position in the market, and whether this opportunity is a dip that is worth buying. Okay, so Ulta Beauty operates in the beauty segment overall. And to give you context, about a couple of weeks ago, we did a deep dive on ELF. You can look for that. I will put it in the notes below, a link to the ELF video, ELF, ALF, Eyes, Lips, and Face, the name of the company. The market is fairly large. It's about $105 billion US alone is where Ulta Beauty operates. They do not have a presence outside the US. Globally, it's almost $170 billion market. And the big three typically in the beauty market tend to be skincare, number one, cosmetics, which is lipstick, things, eyes, mascara, and then hair care, number three. Those are the three overall. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other, which is a big subset of those anyway. It's a $154 billion market just within the US. And most of the people now are moving to buying it from e-commerce. The primary mid-sized to low-end beauty products were bought in grocery stores as women go down the aisle and they buy a bunch of other things. They might also buy some lipstick and mascara and things of that nature. The specialty beauty segment where people buy has been fairly small. Ulta Beauty is one of them. There are a few others as well. And given the presence that Ulta Beauty has as a standalone store, so they operate their own stores, very much like Chipotle and very much like some of the other restaurant brands, they have their own standalone store in off-mall presences, about 1,500 stores all over the US. And they also operate within Target. They have about anywhere between 1,000 square foot of space. In some smaller cases, it might be 800 square feet to about 1,500 square feet at the high end, where they operate the Target's beauty section and they host, stock, manage all the products within that section. So a lot of people may have heard of Amway and things like that in terms of direct selling. That's a very small segment of the market. Many people usually ask me, isn't beauty being sold directly face to face with people? No, actually, most of the products are being sold via e-commerce and grocery stores. Specialty beauty stores such as Ulta Beauty and Sephora has their own, and a few others are very, very niche and small, but they do a bigger segment of the market than the direct selling does. Hair salons do a little bit, but mostly on the luxury side. The mass club and the variety segment is people like Costco and Walmart, if you will. Okay, the personal care market took a big hit during COVID. I think a lot of people women especially decided to stay at home and work, or they were working from home. So that took a dip in 2020 and then continued to dip a little bit more after that, and slowly is now picking back up again. It's fairly attractive from a growth segment going forward, especially around the world as incomes rise. So from a $104 billion market, this is what we talked about. I'm going to go back to using my pen. 104 billion market, growing at about 3.5 to 4% year over year. Most of it is sold now via e-commerce directly from the brands themselves. There are thousands of brands, maybe even tens of thousands of brands in the beauty and the personal care segments. So it's an attractive segment from that perspective. Took a little bit of a dip to about 90 billion and now back again to 104 billion, just to give you context. It's returning back to growth now in the 2%, 3% range. So $100 billion, 2%, 3% range will end up at about 2030. I think the segment expected to be roughly in the $120 billion market size overall, just within the US, and about 190 billion worldwide. As we said, there are multiple different categories. Within the categories of beauty, cosmetics is where Ulta Beauty does very, very well. Now, overall, to give you context, going back to this, skincare is fairly high. Cosmetics is smaller than skincare. It's number two. But for Ulta Beauty, within Ulta Beauty's case itself, cosmetics is the number one area. So keep that in mind when we look through that. Right, skincare is still number three after hair care, and they have a whole host of products across multiple different price points and whole host of brands. Elf, also one of the companies that we covered a few years ago, sells via Ulta Beauty. So Ulta Beauty, think of them as a retailer. So the margins that you can expect from the gross margin side is roughly in 30 to 40%. Net margins will be the 5 to 10%. Very different from an Elf, very different from an Oddity, which is more of the 60% gross margin, 70% gross margin side, growing fast as well. So they showed and they sell a whole host of different products. So Ulta Beauty as a retailer is interested in selling not only their own products, so they have private label brands, they have special products that they sell that are not sold anywhere else, which are called exclusives, but they also sell mass market brands from CoverGirl and Morphe to MAC, etc. So the segment itself has mass market brands, they have the mid-market brands, and then they have the luxury and the prestige brands, as they call them. Been around for 30 years, as I had mentioned. They started building and built roughly, they add about 20 to about 40 stores every year, at least in the last few years. 2020 to 2023, they've added about 20 to 40 stores. And more of the expansion is occurring within the Target stores, which is a store within a store concept, Ulta Beauty at Target. So the beauty experience itself comprises of not only selling products, but helping you with services such as makeup and things of that nature that you might want to do within the store with a specialty qualified representative from Ulta Beauty. So they've continued to do very, very well. They've expanded their assortment. They've done a very good job of being one of the most premier companies. And the stock price has reflected that, by the way. We'll go through that when we look at the stock price. Very good growth, very consistent growth, growing very, very well. Okay, so within beauty, what's happening? Number one, I think the big push from a lot of people has been to expand what the definition of beauty is from just fair and thin and skinny. Beauty is in wellness as well, to all kinds of colors, people of color, Black women, Hispanic women, all sizes of people. That expansion is occurring right now within beauty. The second is, as you had seen, e-commerce is becoming a bigger part of the overall mix from a selling, from a buying, and from an awareness perspective. So most younger people, especially Gen Z, look to social media, primarily TikTok and Instagram, for beauty tips, for beauty advice, for information about new products. There are live streams that happen very, very frequently where influencers consistently talk about how they have their beauty makeup and what they do to be able to get ready. And they also sell products within that, whether it is their own product or it is within the products that they have partnered with. So digital acceleration, number one, how people made aware of the solution, and number two, quickly buy them as well. So it's not just awareness, it's also purchase, which means e-commerce plays a much bigger part. The evolution of the physical store has gone from just a store which has a bunch of aisles that has different products from different vendors to more of a services model where you'd come in, you'd try it, you'd see if it works for you, you try and get some advice, and then purchase maybe few products as opposed to just one portion of it. Democratization greedy is the way they call it, is very similar to expanding the definition of it, which is it's available for everybody, not just for people that can afford it at a very high level. And then personalization. This is occurring also from the standpoint, personalization is also, now the other part of it that I had not mentioned here, which I've seen consistently, is simpler ingredients, wholesome ingredients, single ingredients. That's another thing that's happening within the cosmetics industry as well. People are looking for unique ingredients within the products, very simple ingredients that they can understand, and single ingredient as much as possible. And then loyalty redefined. What essentially means is most women, from what the information says, so I don't know this personally, I'm just looking at the information, most women usually tend to have a loyalty to a specific brand in terms of they try a product, they like the product, they consistently tend to use all the products within that because it goes with the color, it goes with the consistency, they know the products and the ingredients that go into that. But now Ulta Beauty is saying you need to be loyal to what is important and useful for you in different aspects of your lips. You might be loyal to one brand, your foundation, you might be loyal to another brand. For your mascara, you might be loyal to a third brand, and so on. So you buy it from Ulta, your loyalty now moves to Ulta as opposed to the brand itself. Okay, so the different areas, we talked about four of them: makeup, skincare, hair care, fragrance, and bath. Those are the four categories that Ulta focuses on more than anything else. Makeup is the number one category. Skincare, they're continuing to be able to sustain growth. Makeup actually had a little bit of a dip, which is one of the big things that they're seeing as a part of the sentiment. Hair care is where the acceleration happens, and then growth, fragrance, and bath is where the growth continues to be able to move the ball forward. So what are the unique about Ulta Beauty that you won't get anywhere else? Now you go to Macy's, you go to Bloomingdale's, you go to JCPenney, you will see a section of their store that is primarily the beauty section of the store. But the key part is Ulta Beauty has worked with a lot of these vendors to be able to, brands especially, to be able to create unique products and unique assortment for just their customers themselves. They have over 25,000 products that they stock. To give you context, an average Macy just in the beauty store has about 11,000 products. Course, this is just within the beauty section, which includes fragrances and so on. 600 different brands is what they cover. Actually, there are over 1,000 brands that are available. So most of the brands are purely online, are very small, probably very niche as well. The store footprint, they have over 1,500 stores now. This was a little bit dated, 1,300 stores 2020, 1,500 stores in 2023, 2024. And a very good digital experience. We talk a little bit about that when we go forward. E-commerce sales are actually growing faster right now. People are going to TikTok, learning about a product, going to Instagram, finding out examples of how to use the product, and then going online and buying it. Very good loyalty program, very closely connected to the digital program. They give you nearly about 35 to 50 million members. Right now, they're closer to the 50 million members. The key part of it that they've done very good job of is to be able to focus on making sure that the right promotions are given for the right products to drive more loyalty to Ulta Beauty itself. Okay, so every year, roughly about 100 to 200 new brands get above the $1 million mark on the beauty side, just to give you context. So a lot of brands get launched, roughly about hundreds and thousands of brands get launched, but only about 100 of them actually make it to over the $1 million in sales. And that is one of the big things that Ulta Beauty focuses on, which is how do I get the right kind of product that is trending up for the right kind of audiences that they have. Okay, so the end-to-end perspective, number one, focus on e-commerce. They are trying to make a lot of innovation there. Focus on experiences. So within the e-commerce app or within their mobile app, they can have people be able to take their own photograph, take their own video, shoot their own video, make the changes, see what they might get as a perspective from other people. As I mentioned to you before, TikTok and Instagram are leading social media presence. So Ulta Beauty is doing a good job of being there at that point of time. They're also doing a great job of being able to be recognized as an innovation leader just within the mobile side and the app store side. So digitally, very strong, good execution so far. The key movement from them is, as opposed to having just a broad assessment of beauty, skin, hair care, makeup, fragrances, and bath all in one place, they're also going to a point where they want to be able to have a much better, deeper connection with the customer, because retail overall, what you can buy in one place, you can probably buy in another place. There's not that much to be able to do. But having all of those products in one place gives you the flexibility to try it, decide, and then figure out which one you want to do. What's their framework going forward? Right. So Ulta Beauty competes with a lot of different people. As we have already seen, there are specialty beauty stores that Ulta competes with, such as Sephora, but also they compete, well, Sephora only offers Sephora specific brands. product. But they also compete with a lot of mass market brands and most likely within a lot of the grocery stores where a lot of people, women actually buy their products. To give you context, this is not just a women thing. Beauty, there are a lot of men as well who buy it, but I've not seen too many men going to Ulta Beauty unless they want to go buy it for someone who's a significant other. Okay, all things beauty, all things in the world, trying to drive towards operational excellence. So in the retail world, there's a lot of different moving parts, but the key three parts, number one is having the right assortment or selection of products. Number two, making sure that the inventory is very efficient, not too much, not too little, but have enough inventory to be able to make sure that people can get, and then give it to the customers exactly the way they want it by driving efficiencies of not only the inventory side, but also loyalty programs and promotions. So those are the only three elements you need to really get nailed very well. Element number one, have the right assortment. Element number two, have operational excellence to have the right amount of inventory. And element number three, which is promotional capability, make sure that the right promotions are set for the right kind of products so you can move inventory and do inventory turnover very, very quickly. So have done very, very well so far from an operational perspective. Now, the beauty customer themselves, the difference between Ulta Beauty's customer and maybe the mainstream beauty customer is a lot more Ulta Beauty customers tend to be younger, Gen Z, number one. A lot more customers are Black and a lot more customers are Hispanic. Those are three big differences that Ulta is seeing in terms of growth. So why that matters and why it is impacting is because the location and the type of outfits that you're going to get from Ulta Beauty in terms of format of the stores is going to change a little bit from where it was before. What used to be a very niche beauty related, hundreds of stores, thousands of stores. Now they've gone to 1,500 stores. They're trying to get to a different kind of an audience, which is driving their growth. So they're doing a lot better job now of being able to focus on Gen Z, focus on people of color, and also Hispanics to be able to drive growth on an ongoing basis. Okay, so beauty enthusiast versus don't care much about beauty. The beauty enthusiast spends about nearly 60% more money. So beauty enthusiast is someone that really cares about their appearance, really cares about how they look, really cares about the kind of products they use, is going out and seeking information overall. If you look at the total beauty buyers, women, 60% of them are apparently beauty enthusiasts, totaling about 75 million. They already have 35 million in their loyalty program. And the 60% of the beauty enthusiasts, they drive nearly 75% of the total spend, to give you context. And Gen Z, a lot more. Gen Z women are a lot more beauty enthusiasts. So the difference, it's gone from 60% to 78% and 75% to 85 just within Gen Z women. So a lot more interested. So the three big audiences for them, Gen Z, younger people, mostly who are 20, in the 20s right now and younger than that, maybe early 20s and younger, engaging with beauty much earlier, mostly because of TikTok, mostly because of Instagram. I'm telling you, this is the big reason why. The second is Hispanic women spend most on beauty, a lot more. Just to give you context, the average Hispanic woman spends nearly 17 to 21% more per social capita income on beauty than the average Caucasian person does. And Black typically tend to be a lot more passionate about beauty. And of course, the kind of products, the type of products that exist for Black women and Hispanic women may not be available as much, but they still have a lot of specific needs that Ulta is trying to cater to. So the kind of customer that they have focuses a lot on beauty. It's more than just a routine. So for a lot of people, there's a skincare routine. I'll tell you this because I know my girls keep telling me this all the time. They have a routine. It's the first you get the wash, then you moisturize, then you apply the foundation, then, right? So they have a set of things that they have to be able to do. Now, for some people, it's just a routine. They get ready, they get dressed, and move on. For other people, they indulge in it. My oldest one spends a lot of time just doing through that because she enjoys the process. And it's a means of her to be able to show that she cares about self, cares about how she looks. Okay, we talked about this before, but where the stores are going to be located for Ulta is dramatically changing than where they were before as they focus on Gen Z, millennials, as they focus on, a little bit less on millennials, but more on Gen Z, focus on Hispanic women and also Black women. The places have to be accessible within the community themselves. So whether it is social, these are they're shopping not just at Ulta stores, they're shopping even on social, direct link into a TikTok or an Instagram. They're shopping via mobile and promotion offers. They might add it to the website cart. They actually get the shipment. They might buy it within a Target store. They might actually do it within messaging apps themselves. So there's a whole host of what they need that Ulta Beauty is spending a lot more effort time for researching the products, for shopping for the products, and then for purchasing products itself. Skincare is the biggest, but still, for Ulta Beauty, makeup is the biggest amount of money. Ulta has about 7% market share of the $100 billion right now, $104 billion. They only have about 7% market share. Still, now is about 10%. So still growing up a little bit, but not that much. You look at where it has gone right now, makeup is the biggest one, continues to be the biggest one. And then you have skincare, which has started to grow fairly quickly. And then finally, hair care itself. Okay, we'll go through each and every one of these. Makeup number one, growing the fastest with continuing to grow. Lots of new brands is the key part that has been the big difference. And the second part of it is the trends themselves within makeup. A lot more first colors show the skin as opposed to blend the skin. Used to be people wanted to put a color that might be a little bit lighter or maybe a little bit darker than the skin color they have. Now it is just showing the skin itself. New forms of product, which previously used to be just foundation and brush and blush, etc. Now it is a lot more cream-based, oil-based. Inclusivity and diversity, we already talked about this, which is different colors, different types of skins, different kinds of people themselves, and then natural expressive look. Within skincare, also growing very quickly, lots of new brands. The big changes within there typically tend to be one single ingredient. We talked about this, right? Someone wants to focus just on avocado oil or maybe focus just on aloe vera. A lot more changes for Gen Z, particularly in the acne side. Single ingredient, that becomes a big thing as well. I've talked to you about this before. One hero ingredient, a single ingredient that really gives you the difference to be able to highlight a specific aspect of your skin. And then the last one, which is hair care. Fragrances and bath are much smaller as a total segment. All of them are growing very, very quickly, but fragrances and hair care is much, much smaller. And hair care is a very, by itself, a very, very fragmented market overall. The key trends, same as we've seen before in some of these things, which is how do you avoid things like split ends? How do you avoid the natural moisture look, or how do you promote the natural moisture look in the hair that gives a glow, gives a skin color? Um, and again, cruelty free, that's what you've seen from Elf as well. Finally, fragrances is growing the fastest. A lot more new brands coming out, mostly from the luxury segment, but even going down as well. And the key changes that are happening here is just a lot more people are spending a lot more time at home within themselves, spending a lot more on self-care. So the big advantage I see, and let me just summarize for you right now. Elf is a beauty retailer. They're not a manufacturer, they're a retailer. They have about 1,500 of their own stores that are specialty retail stores just for beauty. They also have a presence within Target where they have store within store concepts. So they sell their products to these. They have about 25,000 products, roughly about 600 to about 700 different retail brands that they work with. The key ways they make money is by selling products, by selling services, which has started to grow fairly quickly within their products, and also by doing e-commerce promotions and loyalty. Of these 700 different products, they fall into four categories. First one that they make a lot of money is makeup. Second one is skincare. The third one is hair care, and the last one is fragrances and bath. The fastest growing all of these going forward, the biggest market of the $100 billion US market for beauty products is really in skincare, but for Ulta Beauty, makeup is the largest category. So all of these four and the growth of that market itself and the fact that a lot more people are spending a lot more money on skincare leads me to believe that there's an easy opportunity, even though Ulta is down right now from a stock perspective because of slowing growth for the last quarter. I do think that the longer term opportunity in Ulta, but I would probably go for a brand more than I would go for an Ulta. But if you want a retailer, this is a very good option. The question I ask myself usually when I get into these opportunities is there an opportunity for the stock to double in about 3 to 5 years? And I'm not sure yet on Ulta Beauty. I would rather go with someone like an Elf or an Oddity, which has a much better chance of being able to double from there. But this is a good option as well. Okay, the ingredients themselves across all of their products, because they also, Ulta Beauty is also working on their own products, which are private label products. So not only host products from other people, but also their own products. And these are the key elements that you're starting to see within all of the products that they are promoting themselves. The other big challenge is just wellness overall. This is besides beauty, which is an extension, supplements, renewable products themselves, and a whole host of trying to give more wellness, literally like a spa experience in your house, is part of where Ulta is going as well. Excluded products, which is products that they've worked with vendors and with brands on just to be sold at Ulta itself has been increasing. It's about 13-15% of their sales. This is what drives people to come to Ulta versus go and buy it at a grocery store or go and buy it at a Macy's or a department store overall. So that's a big move for them. So overall sales roughly in about the $8 to $10 billion range. EPS is very strong. Store count is roughly about 1,500 right now, and lots of more movement for them to be able to drive forward. Profitability and productivity is a big move. So the three things, as I mentioned before: manage your category, make sure you have good assortment. Number two, optimize your inventory and manage your promotions so you don't get too far ahead in terms of giving discounts. They have omni-channel, so you can buy it in store, you can buy it at Target, or you can buy it digitally. The rewards members, roughly about 50 million, 35 to 50 million. I would say 35. I think the DAU MAU is not given. So some people say it's 50 million, some people say it's 35 million MAU. I don't know exact number because they've never really mentioned the exact number, and they sometimes tend to walk both of these numbers to each other. A lot more omni-channel customers, which means people that might buy online. What does the customer journey look like? They typically tend to be starting with social. They find out through a TikTok or an Instagram or something like that. Then they would actually go to a store. In store, they might buy online, pick up in store. Buy online, pick up in store is Bupus. Then they go ahead and might go and download the mobile application, or they might visit a Target at their local location, which has an Ulta Beauty. And then once they start working with the services side, that's when it starts to get a lot more tied in. 1,500 stores, so you can see a lot more, as you can see, a lot more concentration here, a little bit of concentration here. As you can expect, New York, LA, a lot more concentration, and the move to other places is a big, but really the big concentration is where the reds are. You can see a little bit over here as well, but big concentration on the East Coast, fairly well. This is flyover zone, as we call it. I don't mean that to be in a negative way, but this is mostly a flyover zone. Um, Optimization across all of the channels: buy online, pick up in store. Mobile experience is where they're focused on a lot more, building the app, getting a lot more users to be able to use the app with the stores more frequently. Roughly about 1,000 square feet in Target, as I had mentioned. They're managing completely the store within the store, much smaller selection as opposed to 600 brands and 25,000 products. They typically will tend to have 50 brands and about 100 different thousands of different products as opposed to 25,000 different products. So very curated list over here. They also have a lot of fulfillment centers: one, two, three, four, five, six. So this is a four here, seven. Three in the west and the middle, and the south has two, and then East Coast. So they have a regional distribution center, direct to store, fulfillment center, which will actually ship direct to home, and then ship from store, which is a local store, will actually ship for you. The market fulfillment center is a new thing that they're trying to come up with. They haven't done that yet. Network capacity to be able to do the e-commerce guests, which means it is not like a fulfillment center. It's more, I can go ahead and take a certain set of products that is available in a local market, keep it available within all of the stores, and then ship it either to a store where the customer can pick up or directly to their home. Now, the other unique model that I talked about besides selling product is services. Whenever a person comes into the store, and if they want to be able to do either hair care, skincare, makeup, they find a lot more spend from those customers. Well, obviously, because you're spending money to get the service, but they also end up buying a lot more products because of that. So $10 billion in sales in 2022, comparable sales about 15%. Just to give you context, the industry leading Kava is at 27% just within restaurants. Mark, someone like Walmart, much smaller, comparable sales is about 5%, same store sales, as you would call it. And then earnings per share, very strong, very profitable company overall. Well, when I say profitable, remember the gross margins are in the 30-40% range, net margins are in the 5 to 10% range. That's Ulta Beauty. That's the context for this company. All right, now that we've gone through that, what I'm going to do now is go through our 5-step process. Okay, let's go first to our monthly chart and then go to the fundamentals. We go through financials first, annualized income statement, and then we'll work our way all the way to valuations and forward projections. So annualized, they went from about $3 billion. That's the balance sheet, sorry. Okay, they went from about 5.8, it's almost $6 billion to almost double that over 6 years. Not bad for a large company of this size, especially in retail. They took a big hit during COVID. So this was now they've gone down to single digit growth. So this was huge movement up. They literally made all the money back up again after COVID, $8.63 billion, good move up, slowing down dramatically. This is more like the growth that they should try and get to the single low double digit growth at least 10 to 15% should be what it is. It's slowed down dramatically. So this is about 40% gross margins, or 30%, between 30 and 40% gross margins, and about 10% net margins. It's not bad, but growth has slowed dramatically. Let's look at it from a quarterly basis. So last year was 6%, now it's growing back up again. So that's a good sign, but they've said that it is weakening. That was the news. That's one of the reasons why. So everybody cut their targets. A lot of companies cut their targets. Look at this. Piper Sandler cut their target, maintained overweight, but cut their target. Uh, Loop Capital raised to a buy from a hold. Not bad. Okay, we'll go back to that in a little bit. Let's not get distracted. $3 billion, 3.5 billion, going back to 10%, hopefully double-digit growth. This was dramatically slower, 6% growth, and still in the 10% range in terms of net margins. Balance sheet, about 5 billion in total assets, but 2.8, almost $3 billion in cash. Current assets about 2 billion in cash, manageable. Would I like to see a little bit less debt, but you need it for the stores. Then about $1 billion in free cash flow. That's not bad at all. That's actually very good. If you look at the valuation metrics for someone growing at about less than 10%, let's say 10%, less than 10% is more likely though. One-time sales for 40% gross margins is not bad. 17% earnings growth is not bad at all. 17 times earning growth is not bad. The 17 times earnings PE ratio is not bad. 40% gross margins, 10% lead purchase, that range. That's not bad. I'm not thinking it is great, but it's not bad. Let's look at forecasts and what do people say. The stock price is at $450 for a company with $20 billion. So $20 billion market cap. Company is doing roughly about, if you look at this here, go back. We'll go back to what they're going to do next year. Right now, they're doing about $11 billion. 11 billion, 20 billion, so 1.7. Not bad at all. The valuation is not bad. The valuation is not bad. Almost two times. Okay, that's not bad at all. Okay, so let's look at what they're expecting to do next year. What's the forecast look like? We go to the annual forecast in revenue. They're expecting $11 billion this year to 11.77. Literally, oh my God, this is single digit growth. Not even $1 billion. They're expecting less than $1 billion. So single digit growth, roughly in the 7 to 9% is what they're expecting in terms of revenue, and annualized earnings growth. Oh, this is literally non-existent. There's no growth here. It's about a buck on 25. That's literally 3 to 5%. No wonder the stock is taking a little bit of a hit because they're expecting no growth for next year. Okay, so it's about 450. That's where the low price is. So most people are expecting to go a little bit higher from here. This is not getting a very good valuation, is it? Usually you'd see somewhere in the middle and you'd see a bunch of people saying higher or lower. This is literally at the low end of its current valuation from a lot of analysts. Let me get rid of a lot of the charts that I had before. Okay, so what do we know from a fundamentals perspective? On a scale of 1 to 10, growth is literally single digit. I'm not going to give it a lot of value for that. Balance sheet is okay. Valuation is good. I'll still give it about a 6 or a 7, maybe a 7, because they've managed to be able to grow still in this environment. They've consistently kept profits up. They're still at about 10% net margin. Very good, managed it very, very well. On the longer term scale, now let's go to the technical analysis. On the longer term time frame monthly chart, this is a stage 4 markdown. We don't quite know where the reversal could be, but this is a potential
reversal area. This could also be a potential area. The previous resistance from multi-year resistance might be the reversal area at 442. Let's keep that for right now, knowing very well that this could also go down a little bit to the 376. Yeah, if the market really turns for the worse, it could go there, but I don't think it goes there. It's already taken a big beating from 556 to 450. That's about 100 and 110, let's say $100 down, roughly $100 down, about 20-25% down. That's a pretty good move down. So it's right now in a stage 4 decline. It's going down. This is stage 4 decline as you can get. It actually went to all-time. Yeah, it went to multi-year highs and then in the 560 range and then just absolutely crashed from there. This looks like a bear flag is forming, so it is going to head a little bit lower, guys. At least on the weekly chart, it's starting to form something. It's still early to be able to say. This was actually a very nice bull flag. Look at this. This was a very nice bull flag. Just to show you what that looks like previously. Fall, flag, moves up. Beautiful move up. This is a classic textbook style bull flag. Okay, so right now on the weekly chart, it's also going stage 4 decline. I don't see any reason to actually get into this until you get a reversal. This was the big gap down after large earnings. It went from the 500 range down to the 470 range, 25 bucks a day, and then even lowered, 450. It went all the way down to 437 in the last couple of weeks, and from 437 made its main move. So this is actually looking like a bear flag on the daily chart. This is going down, guys. It's going to move up a little bit more, but my suspicion is going to retest this level. 450, 430 range is going to retest. And I don't think it's going to go down all the way to 376. It's more likely going to reverse a little bit earlier. The first step is probably 325. Most likely the reversal is going to happen in the 406 range. It's got a little bit more room to go down. It's way below all the moving averages. Momentum is literally non-existent. The momentum is down. Yeah, this is a bear flag. This is the pole, this is the flag. It moves down is most likely within this channel. It should move somewhere in this range down to the 430 range. Again, just test it again to see if it moves up. That's what I think it's more likely going to happen. Let me draw that out. Where is the pen? Oh, there you go. No, highlighter is not what I want. I wanted a pen. There you go. It's most likely going to go something like this, then move down, and test this and then move back up again. That would be my expectation for this. Thank you very much for watching. Listen, another thing I wanted to talk about today, while you guys are here and hopefully not left yet, is I'm going to do a class on technical analysis for about 10 people to start with. It's a paid course for about 2 days, 1.5 hours each, walking through my basics of how do you get set up. It's a basic introduction to technical analysis class, starting sometime in the next couple of weeks. Let me know if you want to know. Go to my website and you will find a link to the class sign up. It's about $350 for 2 classes, 1.5 hours each after the market trading time. Let me know what you think. Go to my website at mukundmohan.online and you'll find a link to that course. Thank you.